What's happening, guys? Check this bad ride out. This is an extremely rare piece. This is if you don't already know, this is a 1993 Harley Davidson FLSTN, aka also known as the Cow Glide. In my opinion, this motorcycle, this soft tail chassis, which in 1990 they had the Fat Boy, and then they had the Nostalgia, the kind of a replica of a 49 Hydroglide on a thoroughly modern chassis with the Evolution motor. This is one of the bikes that helped Harley Davidson from the AMF days when they were selling not a lot of bikes to the early 80s when they took over, when Willie G and Von Beals and everybody got together and bought back Harley Davidson. So it was company owned, not by AMF. They were selling 27,000 motorcycles a year. It's bikes like this that are this good that helped them get up to 360,000 motorcycles a year in the early 2000s. So something about the style of this bike, the black, the vivid black with the birch white, come up a little closer, Doc, with the red and silver pinstriping, it just pops. This is called the Poisson badge. This is a protected part that you had to give them back this before they'd give you another one because they didn't want any clones out there or fakes. Take a look, show them this, Doc. This is a limited edition FLSTN Heritage Nostalgia, number 2306 out of 27. They were a numeralized special limited edition. And if you look at the odometer, this is one of the lowest mileage ones you'll find on the planet, 1,326 miles. And one of the really cool pieces about this bike, parts about this bike, is it is 100% original bone stock, except for the tires, which after the guy who just purchased it from us wants to ride it. So we Doc just got done detailing these brand new Harley Davidson gangster white walls that the Wizard put on this morning. So I have a long history with this bike. I was at Daytona. I've been at Daytona every year for 30 years. This is my 30th year there. And I was there in 1992 when they had the pre-production 93 model on display. And I actually have the picture that they had on display. I asked the guy at the end of the show, I said, can I take the picture? And he said, yeah, and I saved my pennies. I put a deposit on one, and when it came in, I couldn't come up with the rest of the dough. We had just started a business. I couldn't get the financing. So about 3 months later, I saw one for sale used with a couple thousand miles on it. And I went down to New Jersey with $16,750 in cash and a big buck knife to protect myself, a brown bag full of cash, and I went and bought that bike. And I owned it for several years. And when I sold it, we sold it because my ex was pregnant with Taylor, our first child, and we needed money to buy a house, so I ended up letting the bike go to buy a house to raise my family. But this is a true classic. It has a piece of my heart because I fell in love with it at Jump Street when I first saw it. There's some of the reason why they call this the Cow Glide, if you haven't already noticed, it's got Holstein. This is original cow Holstein leather saddlebags and seat cover. Has every single one. There's no two alike. It's 100% organic, real cowhide, nothing synthetic or fake about this bike. And she's a stunner. This bike is pristine top to bottom. Who knows what they'll be worth down the road, but they're very hard to find like this. And this one sold, we had this on our channel for a while, and on eBay, and it finally sold for, I think, $16,000, which is, in my opinion, less than it should be worth, but it is what it is. Just beautiful. Usually the people change the grips and the levers and they chrome them all out. Not this one. This is exactly the way it came out of the box, right down to the fishtail mufflers, the dual staggered fishtail mufflers. It's got floorboards very similar like you see on a 1940s Harley with a big foot peg. It has what looks like a soft tail rear end, but there's two shocks underneath the motor, so it has plenty of suspension. I've got a friend who has one like this. It's got 200,000 miles. He's been to Alaska 5 times. And it's pretty cool story. He owned the bike since it was new, 200,000 miles. The only thing he's ever done is replace gaskets on the motor, gaskets and seals, because they tend to wear out over time. But he's got the original piston rings in the bike. The motor's 100% original with 200,000 miles on it. I think he did a rear drive belt and obviously about 10 sets of tires. But they're one of the most durable motorcycles ever made. They're very fun to ride. It has a very relaxing pace. If you're not going anywhere in a hurry, it has a sweet spot at around 50-55 miles an hour for back roads. That's just second to none. So Doc just gave it the final detail. What do you think of this one yourself, Doc?
Awesome bike. I love this bike. It speaks for itself. It's absolutely gorgeous, head to toe. The chrome is perfect, the paint's perfect. Now with the white walls, put it over the top as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the white walls. And these are the brand new 2020 Harley Davidson white walls. They're expensive. They're made by Dunlop for Harley Davidson. Just a beautiful piece, just pure perfection. And this is an asset that's going to go up in value. Absolutely. So you guys might have heard we bought the Harley Davidson factory race trailer. This is the Screaming Eagle V-Rod NHRA drag race trailer. It's 44 feet long, and we're in the process of setting it up and customizing it. So the boys are in here stripping it down right down. We bought this from Ann Paluzzo. She's the Harley Davidson race team manager, the winningest woman in the history of motorsports. Won multiple NHRA championships under her guidance. The team did awesome. Unfortunately, Harley Davidson lost the funding in 2009, and Ann retired from Harley Davidson, but she remains the winningest race team manager, female race team manager in the history of racing. So this was her trailer. She kept it after she retired. Her husband was one of the drivers that drove the big rigs, and I just met with Atlas Metals. And we're gonna do the bottom 2 foot in diamond tread plate and the top 4.5 feet in a black, reflective gloss black. The whole thing's gonna be totally set up to haul motorcycles. They'll have E-track on the floors all the way down. It's gonna be awesome. Ronnie's removing some of the stuff they had in here. They used to haul a dyno in here, and we're taking everything off the walls, all of the brackets that they have on there. Everything that is mounted in here will be taken out and removed and replaced with hauling motorcycle specific stuff. We're gonna make this it's gonna be a bed up in the top here with windows on each side and carpeting, and there'll be an AC in here along with a 110 volt system. We're having a custom step made like we have in the Featherlight hauler I bought from Uncle Dale. Back to the Harley Davidson. If you look at this bike right here, this is the predecessor, the modern predecessor of the original Cow Glide. This is called the Nostalgia. This is our office manager, Cheryl's personal motorcycle, and it's got a cool license plate, Pearl Jam, which actually is not from the band, but actually the color. A friend of hers called the color Pearl Jam. It's like a looks like black from a distance, but it's got like a purple pearl to it. So they've sold literally hundreds of thousands of motorcycles that look just like that in the evolution of Harley Davidson right up to today. You can go to 2020, 27 years later, and buy a Nostalgia that looks like that, but that's got more modern accoutrements. But that's a system that has worked for Harley Davidson for years. The classic, kind of like the Porsche 911. If you got a good style, stick with it, right? So in here we've got some more classics coming out. We've got an H1 500 Kawasaki that I rode this morning that sounds absolutely incredible. Stay tuned. We'll be firing that up soon. We've got a 91 CR125. That's a brilliant machine. RJ's putting the finishing touches on that. We've got an ATC 200X that we're just doing some touch-up work on and painting the levers and stuff. And then a frame off the 96 Jeremy McGrath replica, 95. Here's the frame. This is RJ's first frame off. This was in the paint booth and got a nice coat of the brilliant white. So starting with the frame, it's going to be awesome. 500 shootouts coming this fall. Stay tuned. We'll let you know when. I'm going to show you guys some of the projects we got coming in the near future. These are the bikes in our lineup to be restored next. We've got a Honda CR80, a ProLink 80R, 6-speed, 2-stroke liquid-cooled monster. We've got a first-year Yamaha MX360 that we just had the crank done and sent the cylinder out to Millennium to be bored and plated. Got a super nice RD350. The tins are out being painted right now. The engine was rebuilt on it. Got a DT100 coming up. A Honda SL125. You might remember a few weeks back I bought 2 SL125s. This one and this one I had sold previously to a guy, and he had both of these for sale. So I went and bought not only the one I sold him, but the one he had got after that. I bought both of them from him. We've got a nice Honda ATC 125 coming up and a CR60. You won't see too many of these. So then further down the line, we've got another RD350 we're doing a frame up on, a CB350, a CR250, a really rare Yamaha YZ100. You won't ever see one of these up for sale. an old AT 175, a Suzuki RM100 1976 coming up, a Trail 70 from my buddy Scott Schroer, a Honda 350, a PE 175, an RM 250. This is a rare piece right here, the Suzuki TM 250 1974. Got that coming up, a CR80, another CR80, and two XR75. So that's about sums it up. Stay tuned. We got some killer bikes coming your way. We're also resurrecting this old Z54 friend. So lots of cool bikes coming down the pike. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. And as always, God bless America.